Welcome to Tech Digest for February the 6th. So here's the topics we're going to be covering today. Kickstarting today with a massive drop from Waymo. They have unveiled the Waymo World Model, which is the new approach to autonomous driving simulation. Instead of just replying recorded logs, this is a generative model that simulates realistic sensor data, video, lidar, and the works, based on a real-world telemetry. It allows them to test the Waymo driver in completely novel hypothetical scenarios to see how it reacts before the rubber ever hits the road. It's basically a dream engine for their cars. This is similar to what's going on with NVIDIA Physics Simulator. You have to run simulations quickly without actually physically driving the cars. That's pretty cool. So next up is Microsoft is handing over some security keys to the community. They have open source LiteBox. So it's open sourced security focused library OS. So what this means is that library OS essentially allows applications to run with their own dedicated kernel functionalities, drastically reducing the attack surface. So LiteBox is designed to use virtualization boundaries for high-grade isolation still, and so it's making it a serious container for securing multi-tenant workloads. The repo is up if you want to poke around the architecture, which is this. Oh yeah. Okay. This next one feels like science fiction. So researchers at Caltech, led by, let's see, I'm gonna butcher this name, Kaihang Wang. Okay, so they have invented what they're calling DNA page numbers. In the world of DNA synthesis, specifically DNA origami, getting molecules to self-assemble into large structures is notoriously hard because every piece usually needs a unique address. So this new technique allows for strictly local interactions, meaning molecules only need to check their immediate neighbors to know where they fit. It effectively creates a modular coordinate system for biology, opening doors for more of bioeconomy. So that's pretty cool. No pictures, so follow this and see if you can find something. If you're building AI agents, Google has just made your life easier. They have introduced the Developer Knowledge API along with an MCP server. So this is designed to ground your AI agents directly in Google's technical documentation. Instead of your LLM hallucinating a deprecated API flag or some new API, the server connects to the source of truth for Google's libraries and tools. It's a clear move to make vibe coding a little less risky and a lot more accurate. Something I have tried last week was building new Firebase, live chat around the Firebase live chat API for the voice agent, which they have an API for, but model has no idea, and Claude probably spent about 20 different searches just going to the website for their API, trying to figure out how to use it, and didn't get it first or second time. Honestly, still work in progress. So this is very good to see. I wonder how much is the coverage here, so I will definitely try this. Security researchers love a good kernel dive. So a blogger here released a breakdown of the anti-cheat driver used in the game Tower of Fantasy. And here's the wild part. They have found bring your own vulnerable driver, BYOVD toolkit, so that is sitting right inside the files. The developer has included a mechanism to load the vulnerable drivers, but strangely, it was never actually loaded or used in the game execution. It was just sitting there like a dormant exploit waiting to happen. So it's a great reminder to audit your build artifacts. But also, anti-cheat is technically a virus. It has access everywhere. Okay. So for database engineers out there, we've got a review of Postgres 19. So this video highlights
Paths.
path
And paths might
generation
be something
strategies,
like,
which is a
for
fancy
this table, use a
way of
sequential
saying
scan, or alternatively,
we are
use an
finally
index scan
getting
on this
better minor
index or an
hints.
index
And
sequential
my
scan
custom
on A,
settings in my
with a little bit
This
of
feature will
modified
allow
code.
DBAs to
And
influence
so
the
this
query plan
works,
more
right? Hint
directly,
plan
enforcing
is great
specific
because it
join paths
exists,
and scan
but it
types when
also
you
doesn't work
optimize
in all
when
cases.
the
Like if you
optimizer
have
gets it
complex
wrong.
queries, you can't really
So it's one
target
of
the
these
right
features
relations.
that
In
our
some
users have
cases, it
wanted
has a
for
little bit of
years to
overhead
fix the
when you apply a
HBA's
hint.
performance
And
queries.
so Postgres called PG plan, the same plan.
Very cool, very cool.
With this new
It
PGS
does look
mask
similar
and
to what
advice itself
MySQL
makes it into Postgres 19.
sometimes lets you
To be
do.
clear, it's 200 lines less
Cool.
because it's
In
now
the
much
form of a
simpler
video
because
this time.
it basically only has to modify this PGS mask versus trying to.
The team behind Pedantic is at it again. They have released Monty, a minimal Python interpreter written entirely in Rust. So the goal here isn't just speed, of course, it's security and isolation that Rust provides for you. It's designed specifically for AI agents that need to execute code snippets. So by rewriting the interpreter in Rust, they're aiming for a sandbox environment where an AI can run Python logic without exposing host system to the usual vulnerabilities. So it's a Python, but it's locked down. So this is something we're seeing lately with limited runtime. So Cloudflare has a similar limited runtime for Node that runs on their edge. So this is awesome to see. Definitely try it in your agent, see if it can be convinced to still work or mold. We see a lot of embedded projects, but this one is cool. It's called BreezyBox, and the tagline is "Look, ma, no Linux." So developer managed to get the full shell, app installer, VI text editor, and C compiler running directly on the ESP32 microcontroller. So no heavy OS layer, just bare metal efficiency, acting like a POSIX environment, or at least a POSIX environment that can run VI, C compiler, and app installer and shell. So it's a massive flex in systems programming and great example of how much power we can squeeze out of this, cheap, very cheap silicon, honestly, the way RPI is going. In the world of open source gaming, preservation is the key. So we've seen Open TTD, of course, and other games like this. So this is CIF-free. So it's dedicated to creating open source cross-platform reimagining of CIF-free. Unlike an emulator, this is a reinterpretation of the engine, allowing the classic game to run natively on modern hardware with fewer bugs and better support. Um, so, like I said, projects like OpenTTD and OpenRA have kept communities alive for decades, and its tools, it looks like CIF-free is next in line with the open source treatment. Oh man, these graphics does look similar. Yeah, so you have to have CIF-free, of course, to actually get these graphics.